Season 2 finally begins. Here we are back in the administration, part of the team headquarters, and welcome back, guys, to Season 2. Here we are at the beginning or end of February, actually, even. Looking at activities to do. We're gonna go with one of the 7-day activities. Not sure which one's the worst at. So Sashi's the worst at. Well, what's the second worst? Durability's the worst. Sashi the second. Fun. What's this two? Sure, we'll go for Era and Sashi because, yeah, kind of makes sense. 5 days. Well, maybe drive camp. Nah. Yeah, preseason advertisement campaign. Let's see what the game would actually do. Preseason just tour. Yeah, I think we're actually gonna go with preseason. No, we go for preseason merchandise sale. Gives us some extra money now. Although we've already got 22 mil, so we're going to go for fabrication on the powertrain, sponsor relations in marketing, and that's it. Okay, getting some R&D now. Going to go for a minor on the durability, the Sashi. Nothing on the aerodynamic side at the moment. Oh, by the way, Lupo is our now main title spot. Let's see the driver transfers. Go right to the top. Let's skip past everyone. Alfa Romeo got George Russell to replace Kimi Raikkonen. AlphaTauri keep their drivers. Lance Stroll, Perez, Racing Point still. McLaren keep their drivers. Mercedes do. Red Bull take in Ricciardo because we took in out Alex. Kimi goes to Renault. I thought he was retiring. Never mind. So Matty Sheeter goes to Williams to replace George, and yeah, that's everyone. So quite an interesting driver change. So first driver change to note technically was us taking Albon. So someone's got to fill in Red Bull, so that was Ricciardo. Someone's got to fill in Ricciardo's spot at Renault. Then that was Kimi Raikkonen. Someone's got to fill Kimi's spot at Alfa Romeo, that was George Russell, and someone's got to fill George's spot at Williams, which was Nobahari Matsushita. So no one's left the grid, no one's joined the grid. Hopefully we can do a much better season 2 Australia. I believe we started 17th in that race, so if we can start high in 17th, that would be massive. Advancing now to the car reveal. Spec 1 has arrived, and 15 mil we have now. Going to the car reveal now. I do believe we are going to look at buying some R&D. Go for durability on the minor on the MGU H or control electronics. No, we go for MGU H. Okay. Sashi, we're going to go for a... we're quite good on durability, so we can lean off that. We're going to go for a weight reduction, so that should come in quite nicely. I'm going to go to the car reveal now. There she is, my beauty. I absolutely love this design in the car. Absolutely amazing. Oh, by the way, our main title sponsor now is Lupo Industries. They will give us some sponsor bonus if we finish third in constructors. So hopefully we can do that. Getting all the perks to level 2 now, because that's the best we can get, I think, until we get to driver level acclaim 15. Gonna go for resource point generation on durability, as that's one of the worst, and we are going to do the same on the Sashi. And yeah, I believe that is it for now. If I remember correctly, we are 8th in the performance comparison chart. Getting some more money now, and I think I am going to go to facilities and get another upgrade, this time for the personnel. And racecraft and awareness, or experience. Experience, as it will give us more resource points to upgrade the car more to help Alex and me. But speaking about resource points, let's go to practice so we can get some more resource points for the Australian GP. After spending some resource... Oh no, we can't spend resource points. Okay, never mind, forget about that. Let's go to the race weekend. Here we are in the race weekend now.
Hope you're rested and ready for the new season. I don't think we really got the most out of the team last year. The car didn't really improve as I would have liked. Let's try and do better this time.
As Carl was talking, you would have seen that we have wet race, so that's going to be fun. I'm going to show you now. Flashbacks are going to be on. Thought it'd be a bad idea if I didn't have them on. 100 AI and ABS off, so hopefully... Oh, by the way, yeah. Let's go to practice. Here we are in practice, and going to the track randomization. By the way, changes. ABS is now off because FIA have found out that we weren't running it, and apparently it's illegal. I didn't know that. By the way, if you don't know, it's actually a joke. I already knew that. Getting quite well on the track randomization whilst invalidating a lap. Strict from the curtain, by the way. And yeah, going across the line to set our second lap, which is another green, unfortunately not a purple, but we decided that actually no, 2 is enough laps, and from now on we're only going to do 1 qualifying pace program, and he invalidated the lap, and yeah, so no point in doing that. Race strategy program now. I have to do a minimum of 3 laps to get the purple, and it's wise to do that. First lap we do get a green lap time. Second lap we are on target to get another green lap time by 4 tenths, and for the third lap we are going to come across the line starting now to go up by 5 tenths and get the 50 score. And yeah, next up is the tyre management program, as I believe one of the team objectives was something to do with the tyre management, so we are going to do that. Coming across the line to finish, we're only going to get a green, which is a little bit disappointing, but you know, yeah, you're going to save all that we can. Tried to qualify pace of program again, didn't quite work, so yeah, going to be down in qualifying apparently. But first in practice, due to the qualified race program, so it's a bit weird, isn't it? I'm last in the program, but because of the program, I'm first in practice. So yeah, don't look strong for practice for qualifying, unfortunately. But getting some XP now. Lead the field by 7 tenths, and Alex down 3.6 seconds behind us. We're going to look at our fastest medium time, which I do believe is the 23.7. Obviously, it is about 1.8 seconds quicker than Alex.
Can't wait for another year of racing. I may have gone a little bit hard on the cheese over the winter, so if you need me, I'll be in the gym.
Yeah, Jeff, I did the same thing, but with mince pies, because you didn't want it to be the Santa for the team, although you do it every year, but then again you get a bit fat, so I understand. And I also tried to get Carl to do it, so no, that didn't work. So I had to be the Santa, so I had to eat all the mince pies that left out in the factory, so I'm a bit overweight now. Only a joke, okay? I hope you realise that. There's going to be so many comments saying that, what are you? Yeah, only a joke. Anyway, looking at the message from Jeff just before qualifying now. I hope you realise that I was only joking about both ABS and the thingy. I made them both for technical excuses for why I may be slower. But we're gonna look at getting some upgrades now. But we don't seem to do that at the moment. I'm just gonna take a drink. We don't look to get a durability upgrade at the moment. So we're just looking back at our components. But we do go ahead and look at getting a minor tire wear at for the Sashi. So that should be all good. 3 upgrades at the moment, but we got enough to go for another one. So we're going to go for drag reduction on the aerodynamics. And yeah, not too bad if I do say so myself, but let's go to qualifying. Here we are for qualifying now, coming across the line for to start our first and only lap. Unfortunately, you'll find out why later. Pausing the game because my controller, where I had my headphones in, was dying every 2 minutes. So yeah, quite fun. Going towards turn 3 now, getting DRS open, going towards turn 3, braking about 75 meters, going into turn 3, locking up the front right just a little bit. Going to turn 4, staying 3rd gear, going on the exit into 4th, and going for turn 5 into 7th gear. Quite flat that corner. Going into turn 7 now, quite easy. Going a little bit wide on the exit of turn 6 for turn 7. Going through turn 8 towards turn 9, braking about just after 100 meter board, locking up the front right again, going all the way to the outside for turn 9 and the entry of turn 10. Going towards turn 11 now, braking just after the 50 meter board, going through the fast left hander of 11 and right hander of turn 12. Going towards turn 13 now, braking about 100 meter board, I think that was, I didn't see. I was too busy looking at Matty Shear on the bottom left. Going through turn 14 now, and towards turn 15, braking about 50 meter board, locking up the front left all the way. Going towards the final corner now and accelerating out the corner, we are going to come across the line to hopefully beat Alex, who is setting a 21.7. We set a 21.3, so we have beaten Alex on our first run. But coming to our second run now, look at the bottom, at the middle right.
That's cool. They kept us all behind, so we couldn't get a lap. Oh Jesus Christ, that was voice crack and a half. What I was referenced in there is that was team radio from Monza 2019, and yeah, what I actually mean was the game kept me behind and I couldn't set a lap.
With qualifying finished,
So rude, isn't it? McLaren's getting a 3-4 for the Australia now. 6-7 for Red Bull. Esteban Ocon getting P5. Racing Points getting P11 and 12. Vettel get P19. Kimi Raikkonen starting 10th, which should be fun. Ferrari Charles Leclerc's 13th. Magnussen P14. We were P17. Alex P19. I think Giovinazzi splits us. I do believe Russell is ahead of... No, Grosjean's ahead of me, who is behind Russell. Latifi and Maggi are rounding up the final spots on the grid. But getting a little bit of acclaim now. Alex Albon is a little bit better than me in acclaim. To be expected, honestly. The overall's a little bit too bright for the sponsors, so I'm going to have to change that for the Bahrain GP.
But chin up, it's not the end of the world.
But it's going to be wet for all the race, and yeah, as Jeff said, I don't know what he said, I won't pay any attention, sorry about that, about the burp.
if you heard that. But let's go to the race for the Australian GP for season 2. Hopefully we can do better than last season of P15 from 2 retirements. So technically we should get P17 if we to be C16 to be better with no retirements.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to Melbourne for the opening race of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to the Australian Grand Prix.
Man ain't Jesus
We're a
this time.
stone's throw from the enormous Port Phillip Bay for today's race at the 3.3-mile Albert Park circuit. It's a bumpy racing surface here, and the 16 corners could prove especially difficult in the wet conditions. Watch out for a safety car at some point during the Grand Prix. The rain is falling today as the battle commences for the World Championship once more. They've done very little running in these conditions, of course. Anthony Davidson, this could make a mess of our expectations coming into this Grand Prix.
That's very true, Crofty. If you want to mix up a motor race, a little bit of water on the circuit will do the trick nicely. The key to success today will be ensuring you're on the right tyre at the right time and making sure you can get them up to temperature.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Norris, Esteban Ocon, and Verstappen, Ricciardo, Gasly, Vettel, and Kimi Raikkonen, Stroll, Perez, Charles Leclerc, and Magnussen, Kvyat, Russell, Romain Grosjean, and the engineer, Giovinazzi, Albon, Latifi, and Nobuharu Matsushita. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
If you saw from that David Croft and Anthony Davidson talking, you would have seen the camera looked up and there was a little bit of blue sky, so hopefully and by this weather indication the rain is going to be lightening up, so hopefully we could possibly go to inters. Gonna increase the front downforce just a little bit because of this wet conditions, and change all the brake pressures and transmission, change all the tyre pressures all the way, almost all the way to the bottom. But let's get ready for the Australian GP now for formation lap, as I am now including, so I can get my tyres as warm as possible for the best starts possible. By the way, if you don't know that, if your tyres are cold, then you get a bad start. Because your tyres aren't heated up enough. Quite a good start on the formation lap, getting a little bit of wheel spin, but need to make sure that the car is up to temperature, like Jeff says. By the end of the lap, we got the car tyre and brake temperatures up to temperature, and here we are lining up on the grid. Can't see anything. And that's not because of the on-screen display, it's because of the spray of the wetness. But here we are on the grid for the first race of season 2. Can we get ready for the 5 LED lights? It is going to be 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, and now 5 lights. It is lights out and away we go for the Australian GP, a wet one indeed. Covering the inside just a little bit, but we don't cover it all the way as Alex tried to go down our inside now, and he does. Going into turn 1, he makes a massive dive on, so that's what I like to see. There's a little bit of front wing going flying, so maybe that was Alex's. Going to turn 2, Grosjean stays ahead of us, unfortunately. Antonio Giovinazzi and Latifi and Nobuharu Matsushita are still behind us. Going into turn 3 now, making a dive bomb on Russell and Romain Grosjean. Hopefully Alex Albon can make a move on Kvyat and stay ahead, so that we can stay ahead of Russell whilst we make contact with him. Unfortunately, that doesn't work, and Albon going a little bit slowly, so maybe that was his front wing damage. Going into turn 6 now, slowing down just a little bit so that we don't hit Alex, losing the rear end just a little bit on that corner as well. Going through turn 8, Russell gets a massive run on us, but we make sure that he doesn't make a move, and he doesn't. Going in a little bit of low fuel, so that we can, because in the wet you're going to save quite a bit of fuel anyway. Getting a little bit of real spin now, turn 10, I'm a bit late on that, and keep the position though. but Alex is dropping off the back of Daniel Kvyat. But who we battled in seasons 1 Abu Dhabi. I can't remember any of the other races if we battled him. Don't think we did. Yeah, maybe we can put some pressure on our potential rival, maybe going down the inside of Alex Albon into the final corner, and yes, there is a little bit of front wing damage there. So he's going to be coming into the pits as Lewis Hamilton sets a 1:44, which is a little bit funny because 44 is his car number. Going on to lap 2 now. We are in P16, so we stay in this position. We will be bettering technically our previous last year's season, and team are telling me that I've got to shift up the gears earlier to save more fuel, but I don't want to do that. I'm just going to leave it in lean because I can. Going on to lap 3 now, a 33.555 from us. Rain is lighter now, and yeah, so it's our choice whether we want to come into the pit stop or not. We exceeded unfortunately track limits, and we get on the curb just a little bit on the exit of turn 9 and the entry of turn 10. Gonna look behind us to see if Russell is gonna gain on us, but he doesn't seem to gain too much, so we're gonna keep the position. Jeff wants us to use the overtake button now to utilise some of the energy. We lose 4 tenths because of the little half spin that we had. Not losing too much to Danny Kvyat, so that's not too bad. Jeff being a little bit stupid, we're nowhere near car in front. 1.8, he's telling us. Gonna check at stay on the temperatures, considering that's all we can focus on at the moment. Lead Alex by 27.7 seconds, unfortunately, in his first race. He's going to finish last. It's a little bit annoying. Jeff telling us that he doesn't think that we should change tyres yet. Lewis Hamilton's in the 37.4, so that's more proof of that. Coming on to lap 6 now, we set a 39.8, only 3 tenths off our previous best. Not losing too much to Danny Kvyat, but the gap is now 2 seconds. Going on to lap 7 now, we're going to set a 39.2, so maybe I think on this lap I started using a different technique of shifting up the gears earlier. Gap to Danny Kvyat is now going to come down ever so slightly, so hopefully we don't do that, so we can stay on the tail of Danny Kvyat. That gap has now gone to 2.4. It was 2.8 just before the corner, but I think it's now going to go back to that after we had a terrible exit. Going on to lap 8, we are almost going to set a personal best, 7 tenths off. 2.8 now to Kvyat, but that's slowly decreasing down to 2.2 as we pull him across the line. 4 tenths of improvement. Danny Ricciardo out in his first race for Red Bull. Unfortunate for him, but yeah, unreliability making him fail to make the end of another Australian GP. I'm also talking about real life, not just my game save. Danny Ricciardo seems to have got electrical failure, as there's smoke coming out the back of that Red Bull, so yeah. And now he's out because the camera went to me. Going towards sector 2 now, Jeff tells us the gap is 1.7 to the car in front, so we have gained massively on Danny Kvyat and the pack ahead. Hopefully we can continue to gain and close in on him. Ask Jeff about the driver in front, but he tells us about the rain. Here we go. So we are closing in by 4 tenths a lap, which is not too bad. Hopefully we can continue to gain. Going on to lap 10, we seem to have lost the rear end, almost equaling our previous best lap. Jeff wants us to use our spare energy that we have, but we can't really do that when it's extremely wet. Proof of that is the Austrian GP in USA last season. Losing the rear end again on the exit of turn 10, I've made just bursted Urias, unfortunately. Going into turn 13, we are still on the back of Kvyat. Gonna lose rear end just a bit again. Going into turn 14, gonna try and keep on the back of him. And going into towards the lap 11 now. I'm gonna set a 38.5, even though we lost the rear end twice, so more potential in our fastest lap. Jeff telling us that he thinks that it's borderline and that we should come in. Perez is slowing down, so it's probably a problem with his car, so maybe a second retirement. Fortunately, we skidded into turn 15, meaning we had to corner cut, and that's why our tyres are overheating massively, so we are going to come in at the end of this lap. No tyre concerns, even though they are quite boiling, you know, Jeff. 3 laps of fuel remaining. I don't think I can stay out this long. Gap to car is 1.5. And yeah, we're losing the rear end all over the place. And yeah, our tyres are overheating massively for these wet tyres. And so yeah, I am going to have to tell Jeff that I will be coming into the pit lane no matter what. And so yeah, that's a little bit annoying. Gonna see if anyone else has changed, if someone has changed tyres, but it doesn't seem to have happened. So yeah, we're just gonna come in anyway, and we are going to come in for the intermediates. And yeah, hopefully we don't lose too much time, but we've lost so much time that George Russell has got onto the back of us. And I'm gonna come into the pit now. Unfortunately, we put the pit limiter too early, so we've lost a bit of time there. Luckily, we don't speed into the pit lane though, so that's not too bad. Luckily, we're still at the back of the pit lane, but it doesn't really matter as we're the only ones coming in for a pit stop. Okay, pit stop from the boys, 2.4 seconds. It's still quite quick. Coming out the pit lane, we are going to be just ahead of Alex as we lose the rear end coming out the pit lane, as our tyres are still quite cold, you know. Going into turn 1, we are still ahead of Alex just by just over a second, but that's going to come down as he's going to gain on us just a little bit. It's gone to 0.32 tenths now, but with our intermediates, we are excelling and setting a purple middle sector on that lap, so not too bad if I do say so myself. Coming towards lap 14 now, only 4 seconds off our previous best, so yeah, should have come in earlier. Never how Majesty is going to fall into our clutches now. Hopefully we can get past them quite early. Setting a purple sector 1, and we're going to go through turn 8. We're going to go towards the inside of Never Harry Majesty. That's not going to quite work because Williams seems to have more downforce than us, but we don't care, so we're going to but we care to get that position, so we're going to make a dive down the inside of him into turn 9. Jeff telling us that we're catching the car in front, so maybe it's going to be touch and go whether we do that, and we're going to stay on board for the whole of our final lap as it is our best lap, but that's not the only reason. Going into turn 1 now, we're gaining on Latifi, 1.4 seconds now the gap, 1.2 at the start of this DRS zone. At the start of the brake zone, it's 1.1. Going into turn 3, nice and early on the brakes as well. Gear 3 for turn 4. Heading towards turn 5, not flat in the wet conditions, especially when you're behind another car. Going into turn 6, we are going to make a dive on Latifi, setting a purple sector 1 by 8 tenths quicker. Now the hunt begins on Giovinazzi. Lewis Hamilton wins the Grand Prix just as Jeff finished telling us that we make a good pass on Latifi. Antonio Giovinazzi now falling into our clutches. Nothing can stop us from overtaking him, possibly. Going into turn 11, we're going to make the move here. Jesus Christ, I'm a mad one. 2 seconds quicker, considering the fact that I had to wait behind Nova Haru a lot longer on the previous lap, so that's why. Unfortunately, we are going to fall short on Russell and Grosjean. Yeah, I think I should have came in a little bit earlier when just for saying. So maybe lap 8 or 7 should have been the better time to come in. But yeah, should have took that gamble because could have paid off. Coming across the line, we are going to set the fastest lap though of a 1:35.1. But well done to Lewis Hamilton for winning the first Grand Prix of the season. And we technically matched our race result from last season, but technically we also didn't. We fell short by 2 positions.
Another superb Australian Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
Carlos Sainz getting a podium for McLaren. That's 3 podiums in the previous 3 races now for Carlos, so he seems to be on the roll. McLaren seem to be a threat to Mercedes possibly in this season. They were a threat at the end of last season, so yeah. Hopefully McLaren can keep that up and challenge Mercedes, because we don't want Mercedes to just run away with it. But we also want them to keep battling each other so that we can catch up and try and get third in the constructors. Getting some XP points now. Not improving to tier 14 yet, but I do believe we will do that in Bahrain. Also going out tonight, do believe. Max Verstappen moving up to 4th, beating Lando Norris. We set the fastest lap of 35.1, and unfortunately it was too little too late. We could have got much better if we had pitted a little bit earlier, so like lap 7 or something, instead of lap 12, with 3 laps remaining. Our previous best on the wets was like a 38.5, which would have probably put us around where I'm highlighting of Kimi Räikkönen and that. But getting an interview now with Claire.
Who would you say is your biggest rival at the moment?
You're joking me, right? You're actually joking, yeah? These are too hard for me. I'm nowhere near them.
Did you feel comfortable in the wet weather today?
Well, life wouldn't be fun if it didn't test you every now and then, you know? Ah, damn it.
Do you think you were lucky not to end your race with that crash?
What crash are you talking about? At least I can't say anything. At least I don't have to say anything.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. And she didn't seem too impressed. But we're coming towards the end of the episode now. All admin stuff will be done at the start of the episode from now on. And practice will also be integrated into the episode at the beginning. Unfortunately, we collided with Russell at the beginning of that GP, if you remember. Damage deductions 4k from Alex, even though when we get front wing damage, it's the full 50. 5 million to spend on next episode, so join us for that. And yeah, but I've really enjoyed season 1, and season 2 seems like it's going to be even better. Hope you can join me for that. Goodbye.